Humans of the cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today we've got another Age of Overlord reveal. It's a single card, but man, it looks like it could be quite a relevant one here. This is Exceed the Pendulum. I love the artwork on this card, by the way, and you know what? I like the artwork on Beyond the Pendulum, and I think this is right in line with that. Obviously, they have like the same aesthetic going on here, but the giant sword is awesome. Her design is just cool in general. It's very cool. Okay, but obviously we're looking at a Link monster here. This is Exceed the Pendulum. This is a Link 3 light spellcaster. 2,000 attack. It points to the bottom left, bottom right, and bottom. So these are the quintessential arrows you would always want from a Link 3 based on supporting a pendulum archetype. So you want to open up as many zones as possible to get as big of a pendulum summon as you can. Its materials are 2+ monsters, including pendulum monsters. This is the only thing that I think I'm a little bit confused about when I gave this card a quick read over before we started the video. Normally this would say 2+ monsters, including a pendulum monster, including at least one pendulum monster. So does this mean that this has to take only pendulum monsters? I'm really not entirely sure. Or is this like a translation thing? When this does get like officially translated, will it say 2+ monsters including a pendulum? Because my guess would be that Konami would want this to use Beyond. Like you would start your play early in your line, you go for Beyond. Beyond gets you scales, you pen summon. And then Beyond with an extra pendulum monster would get you up into this, and then you keep going from there. But I don't know for sure, right? We're just brainstorming here. We have no idea where we're actually going to end up, but still definitely interesting. We'll see what the translation ends up being. Either way, it's going to be decent. Well, if it does need if it does, I'm going to assume it's including at least one pendulum monster, because otherwise this card just becomes way, way harder to make. But we'll see. Okay, moving on to the actual effects of this card. The first and third effects are hard once per turn. The first effect reads, if this card is Link summoned, you can add a face-up pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand. That is great. That is a straight-up +1. I know technically a card in the face-up extra deck when you are playing a pendulum deck is an active resource, but you won't have access to it unless you like have scales and stuff. This is more of like a follow-up situation. It guarantees you, even if your opponent's trying to break down your scales, break down your board, you're going to have stuff in hand to kind of combat next turn. Or if you can actually make this card before Pendulum Summon, this could potentially make for an even bigger Pendulum Summon. This card gains 100 attack for each pendulum monster card you control. That's not too big of a deal. That could get a couple points bigger, but normally you'll pen summon some pen monsters out, and then you will use them to make extra deck monsters anyway, so you probably won't be leaving them on too many pendulum monsters on field. And I don't, because it says pendulum monster card, I believe this will not get a buff from stuff in scale. And the third effect, during the main phase, if you have 2 cards in your pendulum zone, quick effect, you can target, or you can special summon 1 pendulum monster from your hand or graveyard in defense position with a level between the pendulum scales of the cards in your pendulum zone. So essentially you get like an extra mini pen summon, but instead of from extra deck in hand, it's 1 monster from either your hand or graveyard. That's pretty cool, because there's a lot of decks, there's a lot of lines, like pendulum lines and packages, where a pendulum monster does end up in grave, because maybe you use it as Exceed material or something, so when you detach it does go to grave, in which case you're able to reborn that. Also, this being a quick effect is pretty nasty as well, because that means the turn you summon this, you can reborn something for extra material for a bigger board, and then there's also the potential you could just quick reborn something on the opponent's turn, or summon from hand on the opponent's turn to kind of whatever it is. I know not too many pendulum monsters do something like on pendulum summon, but you could still potentially get something worthwhile out of that for sure. All in all, this is a good card. I really see this having some good potential in pendulums. I think this is really cool, because we got Beyond and we were like, okay, this is nerfed. This is kind of nerfed Electromite, but when you add this to it and you're able to go like into Beyond to get you your scales, and then you go up into this. This card gets you a ton of extra value here, which is really cool. And I like that it's not like super broken value. I think this card could potentially be the kind of card that makes for a more mid-rangey, control-y pendulum deck where it guarantees you follow-up with the first effect, and also follow up with the third effect, but also just a resource rotator. Just keep reborn, like you keep reborning stuff, you keep getting stuff out, and giving yourself more resources to do stuff with. But it doesn't necessarily mean this has to be part of a super wombo combo. At least for me personally, that's what I look forward to. I don't look for super wombo combo decks. That's not my style, but I know a lot of people, I think this will be great for that as well. So yeah, very cool. Honestly, I'm pretty happy. Konami has definitely slid through the final portion of this set with some bangers. Specifically this card, and specifically the other new link to the SP Little Knight, I think, or whatever. I can't remember the name. The little ninja girl, the new like best IP target. Very, very interesting. Really cool to see. Very excited to see what the final reveals are. I want to say this leaves us with 12 cards left in the set. That could straight up mean we're going to get all 12 of those tomorrow. That could mean we get maybe one more reveal tomorrow, and then the rest, I don't know, on Thursday. We'll have to see what the OCG does as far as people getting product early and all that stuff. But very, very exciting. This is a cool one. This is a really, really good one. I haven't been playing Pendulums for a while now, so the last time I played Zephyra, and it was like more pure Zephyra, but this could come up in any Pendulum deck, it seems. So let me know your thoughts down below. If you're a heavier Pendulum fan, what do you think here? I'm definitely going to look forward for the Triff video to see all the yelling that's going to ensue there, and what he's going to push forward, because he obviously knows way more than I do, and most, about the potential of new Pendulum cards. But very cool. Let me know your thoughts down below on this card. Any specific interactions for this card? Engines you think this card makes way better? I'd love to hear your thoughts down below on that stuff. But otherwise, I'm out of here. Thank you so much for watching as always. Subscribe to the channel if you want to stay up to date on all things Yu-Gi-Oh! News. I will obviously bring you the final stuff for Age of Overlord, and there's even more stuff on the horizon. Of course, there always is, but I'll bring you that when it comes. But I'm out of here for today. Thank you so much for watching as always. Subscribe for more, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.